think it is better for us to start our session today lah. So for today, basically we are going to learn regarding a new topic on the Altium software. Okay, so I will be sharing my screen with you guys, and you guys just follow the steps. Yeah. So for today, we will learn on how to generate PCB by combining two different schematics diagram, okay, in Altium. So that is what we are going to learn today lah. Means that, for example, if you are designing a project or a system, okay, which consists of more than one schematic, okay, because normally you will be having a good size of project where you'll be having different types of functions in the project, in the circuitry. Okay, so which you might be having a part of your circuit which works as, for example, to convert AC to DC, and then the output from that part will go to your um, amplifying circuit. Okay, so you'll be having many parts of circuitries in one project. And then when you are designing them, you might want to separate them into different types of, what you call it, schematic. Okay. But if you separate this circuitry, you'll be having no problem at all when you want to combine them to become one PCB. So that is what we are going to learn today lah. Alright. Okay, generating PCB from combining two schematic diagrams using LTM-CAD. Right. So for today, what do you have to do first? In your folders where you save your works before for task 1, task 2, task 3, and task 4, you create a new folder and then you name it as combine lah. For me, I'll be naming my folder as combine with my name. So this is my exercise folder, right? I have my exercise 1 and exercise 2, task 1 and task 2. Okay, I'll be creating a new folder. I name it as combine. Combine task lah, combine exercise. Right? So that is where I'll be saving my work lah. Okay, and then I go to Altium Designer, new project, and then click on PCB project. Make sure that the path is selected to the combine folder just now, where you save your where you want to save your combined exercise. Okay, and then save as, for example, you name it as exercise 5 pun boleh, any names lah. Alright, so I'll do that for my part. New project. So name, I let them as PCB project first. Okay, here, browse the location. You have to make sure that you browse them to your, okay, combine exercise folder. Okay, so mine is this folder, yeah, combine exercise. I'll extend it for you guys to be able to see lah. Okay, here, combine exercise. Alright, so I save them on my desktop under my PCD exercise with a folder of combine exercise. Okay, select folder. Okay, name, you may change as any name that you like lah. I'll go with exercise 5. Okay. So template, make them as default size, project template. Then click on OK. So now I have my exercise 5.prj.pcb. So macam ni lah, alright. So you may you may rename them now. Okay, so save project as, okay, I still want to name as them as exercise 5 lah. So senang saya nak cari. Because we have did exercise 1 until exercise 4 before, so this will be the 5th exercises lah. Okay. So these steps here, you have already done the initiating part of generating your exercise 5. Then now you have to do some copy and paste work. Okay. So copy your task 1 and 2 into your combined folder, right? And then open the schematic via LTM. Then when you open them, you have to make sure that you drag both schematic files to project folder, because it will be defaultly it will be stored under free document, because you haven't saved your exercise 1, exercise 2, or task 1 or task 2 circuit with under the project of exercise 5 just now lah. Okay, and then make sure the VCC and ground using the same name for both schematic. So example VCC or GND or plus 5 volt or ground. Okay, whatever abbreviation that you are using to represent VCC and ground. Okay, this is to make sure that they will be connected together. Right, so I'll go back to my my folder just now. So I'll be copying my exercise 1 and then place it into exercise 5, right? Under the same folder of my exercise 5 folder. And then my exercise 2 schematic as well into the combined folder for exercise 5. Okay, so now I'll be having 3 different files under the exercise 5 folder. Okay, exercise 5 project PCB, exercise 1 and exercise 2 schematic document. Okay, so I just copy them lah. Okay, basically I'm just showing you the steps on how to combine them. So it doesn't matter what circuits of what schematic you are using, but because we have already done two different schematics, so I'll just use them again lah. But basically you boleh buat baru pun sebenarnya. Okay, dekat sini you just add, okay, new schematic. Okay, tak ada masalah. Right, so this schematic will be directly under this project exercise 5 project product document lah. But I'm just using I'll delete this first, close project document. Okay, I'm just using the circuits that we have used before, we have done before, so we can reduce our time in designing the circuitry lah sebenarnya. Okay, saya pakai je circuit yang dah ada. But if you want to design them, okay, later on your FYP, for example, you nak design each of the schematic that are included into your circuit, then you may do it as how you've done for task 1 and task 2 lah sebenarnya. Tak ada masalah. Okay. So once you have copied both of these task 1 and task 2 into the same folder of exercise 5, make sure that they are in the same folder. Okay, means that tiga-tiga ni mesti ada lah. Alright. Okay, and then we open them lah. So I'll open both of them. They will be under source document, free document lah. Okay, under free document. So you just have to make sure that these two is under the document of exercise 5. So just drag them to exercise 5 there. Then you can see here my exercise 1 is already under the source document of exercise 5. But my exercise 2 is still a free document. So drag exercise 2 as well. So now I have both exercise 1 and exercise 2 stored as the source documents for exercise 5. So that is what you have to do. Okay, ada dekat dalam ni sebenarnya. Okay, dekat sini dia beritahu. Alright, drag both schematic files to project folder. Okay, and then we have to make sure the VCC and ground of all of the circuits. So you have two schematics here having the same name. So for me, they are not having the same name lah, because if you look at it, for exercise 1, I'm using VCC for my, what do you call it, for my VCC lah, okay, voltage input, and GND for my ground. For my exercise 2, I'm using plus 5 volt and GND for my ground. So ground is having the same name, but my VCC is not having the same name. So what do I have to do? I just have to make sure that I change either VCC for exercise 1 or exercise 2 to become the same name lah. So now I want to use VCC, means that I have to change this one to becomes this one as well. So if you want to use, for example, plus 5 volt, so you just change on the other schematic lah. So tukar dekat sini lah. Okay, but I would prefer to use VCC. Alright, so if any changes made, make sure you save them. Okay, make sure save. Jangan bagi dia ada warna merah lah dekat sini. Okay, this one save project. So now means that I have already saving all of them lah. So I'm having the same VCC and ground name. And then it tells you to redo slide week 3, slide LTM PCB designer from slide 1 until 23. Alright, so you have to reopen your notes. Okay, for designing your PCB. Okay, so basically okay, this one 1 until 23. So we have to redo steps 20 slide 1 until 23. So start your PCB board next. Okay, then set all these things. Once you're done, you drag them and then save them, annotate, and then what else? All components have a different designator. Okay, and then update your PCB document, not until 23. Basically, yes. From slide 1 until 23. Oh, betul lah. Okay, buat dulu sampai 1 until 23 and then we will continue here. Alright. So we will do slide 1 until 23 from the previous lecture. So basically they are the same steps. So what you have to do, go to files and then I'll choose the PCB board wizard. Click on next, set the unit to become metric, custom size, rectangular, 160 millimeter with 100 millimeters. Okay, so I'll tick this all of that. Okay, this one, just let them be. Click on next, signal layer 2, power layers, 0. Click on next, through hole only. Surface mount, no, we are using only through holes components and only one tracks are allowed. So this is the default track and wire size. Just let them be. We will change them later on. And then we are done. So under your project folder, you'll be having your new PCB. Oh. Okay, kenapa dia jadi macam ni? Saya salah size ke? Saya delete dulu ya. Jadi lonjong pula. Metric custom 160 times 100. 160, 100. Okay. Next, two holes, one track. Okay. Alright, so I go back to the project tabs now. This PCB is still under this free documents. Just drag them, okay, to be in the same project with exercise 5. And then I will save this PCB into exercise 5 lah. .pcb document. So now I have exercise 5 PCB document under this project, exercise 5 project, with exercise 1 and exercise 2 schematic being used. Okay. So what are the next step? Okay, dan dah drag masuk save as 17 test. Okay, sekarang kita annotate lah. So you have to make sure that you go to click on one of the schematic circuit, schematic document, and then do the annotation. Moment ya guys. Okay guys, sorry about that. Alright, so click on this annotation schematic. Okay, so I'm having how many? Okay, there are 1 C1, this is C1 as well, C2, okay. So it is annotating both of your schematic lah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 components, okay. Because we have, if I'm not mistaken, we have 8 components in our first exercise and 10 components in our second exercise. Okay. So make sure that you click on update changes list, so no changes were made. And then click on close. Okay, so I'll try here just to make sure. Okay, annotate. Okay. Change this list and then close. Okay. Okay, and then if there are changes, then you will be having all these steps lah, benda-benda yang you dah buat ni. Okay, so just to make sure that all of the components are having the different types of designator. Okay, so that is from the previous lecture. So once you're done, and then we have to compile the PCB. So you'll be having all the same. Just make sure that your your VCC and ground are having the same name. Okay, if you have different names of your VCC or your ground, means that both of the schematic will be not having the same connection lah. So contoh lah, let's say this one I'm using VCC, this one just now I'm using plus 5 volt. Kalau saya tak tukar, so means that one of the circuit dia tak akan ada connection ke VCC. So dia akan jadi error lah. Okay, the reason why, later on when we go to this part here of, if you remember the name as, okay, here, design rule, kita akan set dekat sini, kita akan tambah power, right? So when we add this power option here, kita akan type dekat situ dia punya queries dia. So we will give the name of the VCC and ground. So let's say if I name the VCC here as VCC, so circuit yang pakai plus 5 volt tadi tak akan ada connection. So that will become error lah. Okay, so make sure you have to check first lah. Make sure dia nama dia, okay, kena dua-dua nama VCC and ground dia adalah sama. Alright. Okay, so now you click on the PCB, the PCB document, and then click compile PCB project of just for me it will be exercise file lah. Okay, and then update PCB document, combine PCB. So first I have to click on this one. I'll go on design and update. Compile tadi. Oh, here, sorry. Okay, so here combine. Oh, exercise 5. Okay, compile PCB project exercise 5.prj.pcb. Duplicate component designator. Okay, this is what I want to show you guys. Okay, so before we start anything with the conversion to PCB, we have to make sure that we compile this project. Okay, so bukan klik sini saya tersilap tadi. You have to click on exercise 5 just now. Right click on compile PCB project exercise. And then I'll be having all these error. Okay, dia punya error ni kita tengok dekat mana, exercise 1 dengan exercise 2. Source dia dekat compiler. Okay, the message, right. Duplicate component designator C1. Okay, add exercise 1 dan exercise 2 ni, number ni. Alright, so now we have done the annotation to it just now. Betul tak? Kita dah buat dah annotation. But when we do this annotation, it will check for each of the schematic. Even though masa you tekan dekat annotation ni, dia keluar semua for both schematic. Alright, so you'll be having here, okay, this is for exercise 1 and then this is for exercise 2. Now you look into the designator of the first capacitor. So this is C1. For exercise 2 also C1. So they'll be having same name. So this is not allowable. Okay, the reason why, you imagine if you didn't change this, apa akan terjadi on your PCB board? You'll be having two different holes for exercise 1. So nanti you nak letak, you tak tahu mana satu exercise 1 punya C1, yang mana satu exercise 1 punya, exercise 2 punya C1. Okay, so even though you check through annotation, there is no problem, but you have to remember that when you check them, you are only checking for one schematic sahaja. Okay, so dia tak secara serentak lah. So what you have to do, you have to make sure for any of the components that are having the same designator, you change them. Okay, so saya ada berapa tadi? Duplicate. Okay, C1, C2, D1, R1, U1. Okay, and then let's see has only one pin. Net U15 has only one pin for U15. Okay, so kita check dululah. Alright. So I think the easiest way tak tengok sebenarnya dekat design tools annotate tadi. So C1, C2 yang ni tak ada C3, D1, and then R1 dengan R1. There are no R2. Okay, so I'll be changing on the exercise 2 ni lah. So C1, C2, C3 dah ada dengan C4. And then D1 dah ada, D2 dah ada. And then R1 dah ada sampai R4. So I'll be changing C1 and C2 first lah. So I would like to change dekat exercise 2. So I'll go to exercise 2. I name C1 and C2. Exercise 1 I have up until C4. So C1 will become C5. Okay, and then C2 will become C6. So why I'm starting at 5 and 6? Because dekat C1 ada C1 until C4. Okay, C1, C2, C3, C4. So kalau you namakan C3 pun still tak boleh. Okay, they will still becomes error because dekat sini ada nama yang sama. Okay, and then for diode, I have D1 and D2 here. So schematic 2, I have one diode with the name of D1. So I have to change the name to become D3 lah. Okay, and then resistor R1, so only R1 dekat circuit 1. R1, but dekat R1, R2, R3, R4. So saya kena ubah semua jadi R2, R3, R4, R5 lah on schematic 2. Or if you want to change sini jadi, okay saya tukar sini lah sebab satu je kan. This one will become R5 instead of R1. Sebab R1 until R4 has already been used dekat exercise 2. Okay. So saya dah ubah semua components yang mempunyai designator yang sama. Alright, save them lah. Start nak merah-merah tu. And then kita try annotate balik. Kita try compile balik. Save, project. And then compile. Okay, still error here. Duplicate component. Oh, U1. Alright. There are still another components, which is this one. This is U1. This is U1 as well. So I'll change this one to U2. Okay, just make sure kita kena buat benda ni lah. Okay, just to make sure that they are properly differentiate. Okay, so on your PCB board later on, you'll be having all of the components with different designator. Okay, now for example, kita ada 5 resistor. So each of the resistor having different names lah, R1 until R5. Okay, kalau kita tak tukar tadi, dia akan jadi R1, R2, R3, R4 and another R1. So that will be so confusing later on. R1 yang mana satu kita nak pakai untuk circuit 1, R1 yang mana satu untuk circuit 2. Okay, save again and then I'll go to compile. Okay, I'll still have error here. Net C has only one pin, which is here. Net C has sekejap ya. Okay, so my net C tadi ada problem. Saya just delete and then redo the ni lah. Okay, so try compile. Okay, so mine has no error anymore, dah tak ada error. Means that once you've clicked your compile here, compile PCB ni, without any windows, error windows popping out, means that you are good to go lah. Alright, so you dah tak ada masalah. Okay, so move on. After you've done that, we click on the schematic and update PCB document combine. And then we do all these execute changes. Okay, so I'll be clicking on my exercise 1. Right, and then click on design update. So design update PCB. This one compile dah. Alright. So design update PCB document. Okay. Yes. Any question ke guys? Ada soalan? Okay. Right. If you look at this action here, kita ada all of the components lah. Make sure they are 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 18 components. And all of them are having different design letters. So C1 until C6, D1, D2, D3, R1 until R5, U1 and U2. So means that this is okay lah. Alright. And then click on execute changes. Okay. So make sure that the status of check and done are all green. If not, then you have to, you kena buat balik lah. Okay. So execute changes. So mine looks fine. Semua green. Okay. Just remember, if you have red check and status check here, normally the problem is with which causing this problem is your library. Selalunya disebabkan oleh library. It might be that any of your components tu library dia hilang. Okay, normally benda ni berlaku dekat normally these things happen at normally lah dekat library yang you tambah sendiri tu, which is the Motorola Power Management or the ST Analog Timer Circuit. Biasanya komponen-komponen U ni, okay, you punya IC ni yang selalu ada problem, either this one or this one. So just go back to your libraries, make sure library tu ada. Kalau library tu tak ada, just tambah and then masukkan balik, delete yang ni, katakan yang ini problem, delete this component, then install library, masukkan balik and then you buat redo balik lah, maksudnya compile and everything semula. Okay, so just to make sure that if you have problems masa dekat masa validate tadi. Okay, mana tadi? Okay, dekat sini tak apalah, saya delete dulu. Saya dah proceed pula tadi. Access tu. Okay, just click on update schematics and update PCB document. Okay, this part here guys. Bila you click execute changes, if you have any of this check turns red, means that you'll be having problem normally with your library. Biasanya itu, tak ada problem lain. Okay. If you have those problem, just go back to the to your schematic, dekat mana yang dia akan beritahu lah. Okay, dekat mana exercise exercise 5, which part yang mana yang ada problem. So go back to that part, cari schematic dia, tukar komponen tu, install balik library yang baru, lepas tu masukkan komponen yang baru and then compile balik semua, then you should be okay lah. Okay, so mine is okay, all are greens. Click on close. So both of the exercises, schematic 1 and schematic 2 just now, the PCB layout, okay, is here lah. Alright, okay, so what else you have to do? Rearrange and then active route and then complete the combining. So just the basically step-step yang ulangan je. Okay, so I drag both of them into this my PCB board. Okay, I like to delete my red box. And now I'll be arranging the components, same size components at one part, and then the other same size components at the other part of the circuit lah. Okay. Alright, okay. Alah, forgot lah. Okay, the problem here, normally what happens when you are dragging your PCB layout here to your board, okay, jangan tarik dia satu-satu macam tu. It will becomes green. Kita tak nak komponen ni jadi green. Okay, so what I normally did was okay, if you do like that also, you look at this component, all akan jadi green. Okay, you have to make sure that you drag them into this PCB layout here with the red boxes. Okay, so I'll be dragging them both like that. Then I delete the red box so that the component's color will still becomes yellow. Okay. If you accidentally drag the components of your PCB into your PCB, for example, one by one or not all together with the red box, so it will turn green. So green tu it's not what we want lah, it's not a desired output lah sebenarnya. Okay. So start arranging, make sure same component goes to same part of your design. Same size lah Okay. So this one is good. Okay, this one same as well. This one is a bit different. What happened? Okay, so I'll just put them here lah. This is diode U2 J1. Is there any resistors left? No. So I'll be putting my IC there. And then another IC which looks like capacitor. And then I'll put my large capacitor in the middle of my design. And then this is diode. Okay, this capacitor in the middle of this. Okay, and then this is my connector. And then my diode lah. Okay, so you may arrange them as how you like lah. It doesn't matter sebenarnya. Just make sure that they are neat, itu je. So I'll move them a bit to the center of the diagram. Okay. Okay, bolehlah tu. Right, and then save your work first, and then you go to route, auto route. Oh, sorry, kita lupa ni. Design rules, Okay, so with here we add another rule with the name of power. Okay, and then click on it. So set the size to become custom query. So custom query. Alah, saya dah tutup dah pula tadi. Okay. We have to type in these things lah. So for power, it will be in net ECC, or in net D. So in net VCC or in net GND. So that depends on the names that you use for your schematic just now lah. Okay, yang saya ulang-ulang banyak kali tu. Kalau you pakai VCC, VCC kalau tambah 5, tambah 5 volt. Okay, but make sure both of the schematic are having the same name. Okay, click on apply and then check the priorities, make sure power dekat atas. Done, and then okay, so the size here, I want to make sure that the size is, let's say lah, minimum width 0.6, preferred 0.7, maximum allowed 0.8. Okay, click on apply. So that is for power. For width, okay, ini minimum 0.3, preferred 0.4, max 0.5. Okay, so normally for component tracks, they should be smaller than the power tracks lah. Power ni kita make sure lebih besar size dia compared daripada component tracks. Okay, and then go to vias. Okay, set the size of routing vias here to make sure that the diameter is always 2 mm. Okay, kita tak nak dia terlampau kecil, nanti susah. Right. Okay, via hole 0.8 lah. Alright. So if you want to know what is via diameter, dekat sini dia tunjuk. This arrow showing what is via diameters. So from this point to this point, okay, where your component pads will be placed. Okay, that is the size of the of this round thing lah. The via hole is where you'll be drilling on your PCB and then place your components into. Okay, so make sure that the size is equivalent. Okay, then we are done with this part here. And then click on apply, click on OK. So save your PCB. Now you are ready to auto route. And then fan out, route all. Route, auto route, and then all. And then click on route all. So just wait for this message windows to stop doing its work lah. Okay, bila dia stop tu, then it is okay. Just give them about 5 seconds lah. So this is my circuit lah. Alright. So I have blue and red lines. I hope you still remember what does blue and red line stands for. Just look into this part here lah. Okay, red lines for top layer, blue line is for bottom layer. Let's say you are not satisfied with this project, with this circuit here, just unroute them, unroute all, so you dapat balik yang ni lah. Okay, avoid these things. Okay, macam ni, avoid terlampau rapat. Okay, what happens if you route them? Okay, right, it is still routing as normal, but your components will be having some part of them on top of each other lah. So kita tak nak benda tu terjadi. Tengok macam ni kan. So make sure there are no greens at all lah. Jangan ada warna hijau. Okay, so I unroute them. Okay. Macam ni, this circuit, I just set the I've set the what we call it, the the size just now 200 and 160 mil. So this is quite big lah sebenarnya, but basically you can change the size of your what we call it, size of your PCB board ni. Dekat sini you boleh tukar. Okay, but let's say saya nak size dia macam ni, so I want them to be more independent. So saya letak besar-besar. Okay. So the arrangement, it is up to you. Just make sure same component goes to same part. Itu je. Okay, so that when you what we call it, bila you place all the components dekat atas board, nanti dia nampak kemas lah. Okay, because they are the same things which will be arranged at the same place of the of your PCB. So dia akan nampak sangat cantik lah. Okay, if you don't believe me, you boleh tengok lah mana-mana board yang you boleh read. Contohnya board of your we call it, the easiest. Mana you nak dapat? Takkan you nak buka komputer you kan? Okay, never mind lah. I'll show you here now. PCB board. Okay, I'll go with this one lah. This one looks good. Okay. Okay, an example here, kalau you boleh tengok, right? Here, if you look at these things, they are resistors. Dia kena ini. This is SMT components Tak nak lah SMT. Okay, ni boleh kot. This is so SMT. Through holes. SMT juga pada. Saya nak tengok yang semua through hole. Okay, inilah. Alright. Okay, yang ni part here dekat sini dia pakai through hole. Means that pin through hole components, and then the rest here you tengok dia pakai SMT, yang mana yang tak perlu tebuk lubang. Okay, no holes drills through the through your board. So this one normal resistor ni, alamak. Normal resistors ni, yang ini through hole, yang ini semua ni pakai SMT. So saya tak nak tunjuk itu. Yang ni lah, okay. This one is better lah. So if you look at this circuit here, okay. Tengok resistor dia letak satu tempat kan. Okay, so for this circuit it has 4 ICs. So large sebenarnya banyak IC ni. Capacitor dia letak dekat sini, same components. Okay, same components you place at the same place. Okay, place them at the same area so that it will be neater lah, supaya PCB board you jadi kemas. Alright, macam ni dia pecah-pecahkan. Okay, for this part here, this will be do one function for this circuit. This part here will do another functions. This part here will do another function. So dia separatekan by ICs. Okay, just make sure bila you arrange, okay macam ni lah. Jangan one resistor here, you have 5 resistors, satu sini, satu tengah, satu hujung, satu dekat bucu. No, that is not what we want lah. Okay, so nanti dia nampak tak cantik. So macam ni saya cincai dululah I just want to show you the freedom of designing your PCB on how to place your components. Okay, always save your work, route, auto route all. Okay, so now I'll be having new connections lah. Okay, so stop. So this is my circuit. Okay, so but normally for designing any PCB circuit, we want to make sure that we we minimize the size of the PCB lah. Kita tak nak size PCB kita besar-besar sangat lah. Okay, so now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 components which comes from exercise 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 from exercise 1 and 8 from exercise 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why you punya PCB ada 18. 10 tambah 5. So now means that you have already successfully combined 2 different schematics to become one PCB. Okay, so save your work means that you are done with today's exercise. So basically that is what you what my intention for you guys to learn today lah. Okay, nak combinekan schematic. Okay, just remember later on might be that a question popping up. Kenapa pakai exercise 1 dengan exercise 2. The reason why, because I just want to show you on how to combine them. But it doesn't have to be necessary these two exercise lah. You have to design your own exercise basically. Contohnya macam saya nak tambah lagi satu kan. So I'll add another schematic. Oh. Okay, I'll add another schematic here. I name it as, for example, okay, exercise additional. So, tak ada masalah pun. So, you place all your components, okay. Oh, ni connector pula. Okay, so I place my diode, I place my LED. Tak ada masalah. Sebenarnya, you boleh design all your circuitry. Okay, berapa banyak pun ada dekat sini. Let's say you ada 5, so you want to combine them to become one PCB. There is no problem at all, you boleh buat. Okay, cuma tadi ni saya tak naklah ulang buat benda ni. I don't want to redo circuit 1 and circuit 2 again. So I just use the circuit that I've designed before and then I paste them into the same folder. Itu je. Okay. Okay, let's say now you dah tambah, kata you ada all 4 additional circuit. So you create another new PCB lah. So you can delete this one, create new PCB, but make sure the number of components are able to be fitted on your PCB size. Let's say you ada more than, ini ada 18 je. Katakan saya ada more than 100 components. Okay, so of course, if I have more than 100 components, the 160 mil times 100 mil won't be able to cater the size of your PCB. So you change the size of your PCB board lah. Berapa you nak tukar, so tukar dia jadi besar. So you can do it before you compile and then before you transfer your schematic into PCB. Okay, you have to analyze analyze beforehand lah. Sebelum you buat, you tengok dulu how many components are there. Because this size here is for, I think for 20 to 30 components, this size should be enough lah. But if you have more than that, then you might need a larger size of your PCB lah. Okay, so that's why macam motherboard of your laptops, of your computers, you have size dia besar-besar kan. Okay, macam motherboard laptop biasanya this size. Okay, because the number of components that are being used in the schematics, masa you design schematic itu banyak. So you nak cater all the size, all these components to be able to fit into one PCB. So you have to make sure that the size is large enough lah. Okay, so I'll delete this additional just now. Saya just tunjuk je. Don't worry about them. Remove from project. Then close my project. Okay, so save your project. Make sure you always save them. Any changes kalau saya ubah je dekat schematic, katakan here I change saya tarik sikit dia ubah tak? Okay, saya tarik kedudukan ni pun I move a header 2 into new position so dia akan berubah. Okay, but if you just change the position of the component, then it is okay, just save and then this PCB is still usable. But let's say you are adding another components. Okay, saya tambah satu LED katakan saya tambah satu LED dekat sini. Alright, and then I'm having a new connection like this. Okay, you still have to save them, but this PCB here, you have to scrap them. Because why? Because this new PCB, this new LED is not in this PCB. So you kena delete PCB ni, okay, remove from project, you create a new PCB and then you have to redo all the steps just now lah. Compile, annotate, compile, and then go to design. Okay, update the PCB, kena buat balik lah, rules and everything. Okay, so any additional components, changes of name, you kena buang you punya PCB ni. Okay, delete all of them, create a new one. But kalau perubahan pada kedudukan komponen, then it is okay, tak ada masalah. Atau ubah ini pun kena Kalau ubah kedudukan macam ni tak apa. Let's say saya ubah this one I just made it up lah. Okay, from point 3 here kena ada connection ke sini contohnya. Okay, so any changes like this, you kena directly delete this PCB, you have to redo them again. Because sekarang ni connection dia tak sama dengan apa perubahan yang you buat ni tadi. Okay, but perubahan katakan macam ubah-ubah ni, ground ni you ubah-ubah, then that doesn't matter. Okay, any new changes, new components designator, or if you have new connections, you kena buat balik lah. Okay, so then just make sure you save all your works, that's it. Okay guys, that is for today. I think I'll stop here, but before I stop, I want to ask if you have any questions. Ada ke guys? Ada soalan? Got question or not? I'll download the attendance list from here. Okay, I'm assuming there's no question yet. But please make sure that you try these steps lah for today's exercises lah, in combining our two different schematics to become one PCB, because for your tomorrow's task 5, it will be regarding these steps lah. Okay, so videos will be uploaded through our VLE on how to do them. Today's video and the other class video also, I will upload them later. Okay, so you may refer back to those video or my presentation slide lah. Okay or not guys?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so last chance. Do you have any question? Ada soalan tak?
No, sir.
Okay, so if there are no questions, then I will end the session here. Inshallah, I'll see you. For tomorrow's session, you'll be doing your task 5. So please proceed with the completion and submission before midnight tomorrow. Okay, guys. Okay, so we close our session with Surah Al-Azan Tasbih Farah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, alright guys. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Salam.